Channel 5 News at 10.
Live on Channel 5, this is the 10 o'clock news with Ron Majors and Carol Marin, John Coleman with weather, and Mark G. and Greco with sports. The Channel 5 News at 10.
Tonight, a Schaumburg woman is dead, murdered in her apartment, and police have a suspect after a dramatic chase.
Channel 5's Derek Blakely is in Schaumburg right now for the latest on the story. Derek?
Carol and Ron, so far, police have declined to identify either the suspect or the victim in this murder at the Applegate Apartments in Schaumburg. The suspect has not been charged and is being treated for cuts and burns at Humana Hospital in Hoffman Estates. Meanwhile, the victim has been identified only as a white woman in her 20s. Schaumburg police were called to the apartment complex by the victim's roommate, who had found the young woman's body on the floor of the apartment they shared. She had suffered several cuts and stab wounds. But while police were investigating, a fire broke out in an apartment near the murder scene, forcing other residents of the complex to flee their apartments. As firefighters arrived, police apprehended a black man in his mid to late 20s who was seen running from the burning apartment. And police say he had suffered similar cuts and wounds to those on the victim's body, leading police to believe that he and the young woman may have been involved in a struggle. Police also say the suspect may have started the fire to divert police while he made his escape. The suspect was taken from the scene in an ambulance. Right now, police are in the process of obtaining a warrant so they can search the apartment the suspect reportedly fled from. So far, no weapon has been recovered. Reporting live from Schaumburg, Derek Blakely, Channel 5 News.
Thanks, Derek.
Tonight, from behind bars, the man charged in an assassination plot against the Reverend Jesse Jackson is denying that allegation. Channel 5's Paul Hogan has the story and an interview with the suspect.
The FBI says it has audio tape of 30-year-old Londell Williams telling an informant he belonged to white supremacist groups and was plotting to kill Jesse Jackson as early as June 1st. Williams' neighbors were not surprised.
Well, he's kind of strange looking. He kind of gives you creeps the first time, you kind of see him.
After she was arrested, Williams' 26-year-old wife Tammy allegedly confirmed her husband's ties to violent groups called the Order and CSA. But in a telephone call from his jail cell outside St. Louis, Williams denied all of the charges.
I don't care who's president of the United States as long as they're for the people. This is my concern, are the people. If Jesse Jackson makes it to the presidency, well, fine. All I have to say is I do not belong to a white supremacy group. I am not a member of the Order. I am not a member of the CSA. And I did not conspire to kill the man.
Reverend Jackson stayed on the California primary campaign trail today and shrugged off the alleged plot.
Those who would do peace must face the hostility of those who are bound in fear.
Throughout the primary season, Jackson waded into crowds frequently, always with heavily armed Secret Service agents nearby, often donning a bulletproof blue raincoat. Here in Chicago, campaign officials worried but could do little about it.
Those of us who care about him and love him try to warn him and try to protect him as much as we can. But he has a date with destiny, and he believes that he must campaign the way he campaigns, and we support it.
Finney and Jackson praised authorities for uncovering the alleged plot and breaking it up. Paul Hogan, Channel 5 News.
Earlier today, a bullet was found on the floor of Jackson's campaign plane, prompting a baggage search. However, Secret Service agents later determined the shell was one of their own.
Federal agents are still searching for two more suspects in a $70 million bank embezzlement scheme, one that was uncovered before anybody got their hands on any of the money. Authorities say the 7 suspects, including 2 employees of First Chicago, picked 3 clients of the bank and got their confidential money transfer codes. The suspects allegedly made 3 wire transfers totaling $70 million through First Chicago, transferring the money on to some New York banks. Those New York banks were then instructed to transfer the money to banks in Vienna. 4 of the suspects were ordered held without bond in federal court here in Chicago today.
Tonight, a revealing look at some political hardball, Chicago style.
It is an inside look at Ed Vrdoliak through secret notes kept by a close friend. Our Unit 5 investigative team got the first look at those notes that show us some of the things Ed Vrdoliak is said to have done in his rise to political prominence. Peter Carl is here with the exclusive details. Peter?
Ron and Carol, Eddie Vrdoliak and a close friend and political advisor were feuding over money 10 years ago
and they both sued one another. Part of a settlement agreement which ended that dispute, kept hidden, notes that chronicle part of Verdoliak's past. Our investigative team in the Chicago Lawyer magazine revealed for the first time the contents of that hidden material.
And the truth is, in America, 29 votes is more than 21 votes.
I told you we weren't going to get political.